You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. All right. Welcome everybody, and hi, Be the Moon. What's up? How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm very good.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
1 second, I couldn't hear because I had the volume down, so sorry. Here I am. So what's up? I didn't hear that. How are you doing?
I'm very good. The stock is good, so I'm good. How are you?
That's always pleasant. Yeah, we had a nice rally yesterday after the announcement. A lot of things happening. A lot of things to share, I think, these days. And I reviewed the content that was produced like in just 1 month, like not just by us, but by many people. Like, it's crazy to see in 1 month so much content about BTC Treasuries, but about the blockchain group. And it's a lot to catch up. It's a lot to keep track of. So I struggle, but I'm doing the effort. I'm really happy about it. And hopefully today we can share something with the others.
Yeah, sometimes it's beginning to look like a day job to keep up with everything that happens.
Yeah, it's tough, right? But I find it very exciting. So I hope people appreciate and find some value. And I hope we can keep finding the time to do this. All right. We will be live, I think, a few people less, but because we planned this last minute yesterday, and also time zone wise, it's very good for Europe, but most people will be busy at this time, I would expect, as we usually are. And US will catch up when they will wake up.
It's crazy to see, and we hit 26,000 on the first episode.
Whoa. 20,000. That's crazy. Yeah, that was nice. That was really nice. Nice to see also the comments of the people. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate like positive feedback. We will definitely keep doing this. I can speak for myself. I'm sure we will keep doing this, and let's see where it takes us. All right. So let's start, and from some housekeeping as usually. Once again, as for last time, everything we share also actually on our profiles, this is never financial advice. So please run your own research. Don't trust what we say. Verify it with your own research. Make up your own mind through your own deep dives. Because eventually when you invest your money, it's your money, right? So don't trust us blindly. We do this research because we are invested. We are not associated to ALTBG or any Bitcoin treasury, but we are shareholders. We enjoy the process. We also like to check where our money is, of course. What are the risks and what are the rewards at play? Please do the same. So also ask questions in the live chat so that we can actually try to answer at the end. And yeah, I can see already some nice comments. Greetings from Budapest. Hey there. Thank you. And also, if you like this, if you enjoy this content, like it and repost it. We are really seeing how communities are making a huge difference in basically bringing the attention to the companies, the attentions they deserve, and also spotting risks in advance or finding edges. I think like when we started to talk about ALTBG, like almost 1 month ago, nobody really knew about it. Very, very few people. And now we are flying much higher. So yeah, like and repost. And I think we can start. Let me go. Indeed, as we were saying, that communities are very important, and now we are growing very fast. Yesterday, we reached 800 people on the blockchain group channel. Now, I think I checked like this morning, we were already at 870. So it's like growing so fast. And I think it's thanks to the content, thanks to the interest that is getting raised, and thanks to the communicate, like the research also. I think that really, like, I love your calculations with the moon, and I love also to research and share. And also Alexander, they are doing wonderful work, going around all the times and sharing. So I think this community will grow, and we are, I think, very, very early still. What do you think?
We're still under the number of Bitcoin holdings, so there's room to grow. There's more Bitcoins on the balance sheet than members in the community. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. At least we need to get to at least 1 Bitcoin per user who joined, or member who joined.
We can make a metric out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitcoin per member. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, if you join now and you are approaching the blockchain group for the first time, you need to know that we didn't spend so much longer on ALTBG, but things move so fast that by now there is so much in-depth content. And I made a post the other day. Maybe I should make a thread, probably I will do it, but just to start collecting all the most valuable pieces that have been produced, because there is a lot of information. And I think the edge that we are having right now is just the edge that comes from attention. Like, if you look into it, you find it. So here is a collection. Like, go to this post to see there are a lot of links. For example, even if you want to buy from US, there are a lot of people who are interested, and sometimes they don't manage to buy it, but it's available on Fidelity. You just need to activate international shares, and there is a link at the bottom that tells you exactly what you need to do. But there is a lot more, and here I just want to mention, I think, the top pieces of content that have been produced in the last month. So the first one, and I think the best place to start, is this one. Listen to Alexander speaking. He made an amazing presentation on the 30th of April. I think I was lucky enough to listen to it, like, I don't remember, 1 week later, and everything clicked, and everything started from there. And he clearly is a European Michael Saylor. You need to listen to this pitch. There is a lot of, also, it speaks a lot about the company and about him. It speaks for him. They share a plan, and now 1 month has passed, so it's not, there is more that came after, but we are covering that as well. But that's definitely the place to start from. Then we did the first episode on ALTBG. Check it out, because we talked for 1 hour, as we will do now. I think we had very good content and valuable insights that, unless you dove into the documents, which we did with Btiwise, you hardly would come across. Also, this was quite exceptional, I need to say. We got Adam Beck and Alexander Lezé live. We had a chat with them, and there were questions that we asked. We collected questions before from members of the community, and we asked them those questions, and they answered each of those questions. And it was also very useful, because I re-listened to this several times. I don't know about you, Btiwise, but it gave me so many insights every time I listened to this.
I did it twice, and I also read your transcription of it. Even give me more clarity about the Bitcoin covered bonds. So
yeah, exactly, which is a very hot topic that still people, I think, don't fully grasp, because it's new. And I think it was Michael Saylor to say once, like, you want to get on things that people don't understand, and before people understanding, that's where the edge is. And I think Bitcoin denominated bonds are definitely an edge for early Bitcoin treasury companies.
Yeah, maybe I can get into it again today, just in a summary. So people, maybe it clicks for more people if we repeat what it is.
That's great, definitely. Also, like, fresh from 2 days ago, Adam Livingston on ALTBG. Listen to this, because Adam, doesn't need any presentation. He's a great entertainer. He's a great analyst, and he nails it. He explains it very well. Just give it a listen, give it a watch. It's very interesting. It adds up to the many the big amount of material that is now available. Also, shout out to Be the Moon, because I think he produces a lot of nice analysis and a lot of quantitative, a lot of numbers out there, including this simulation. We will go through it during this presentation, but give it a follow, because I enjoy every time you post, man. I really follow, and we do also very similar analysis but separate, and every time it's a very good to compare to yours and see that we come up with a very similar outlook for the future.
Thanks, man. Same to you. Good output there.
And I think we can start for today. So the episode of today is called June Goes Higher. And I love this. I chose this background with Bitcoin that keep popping up. Why? Because right now, Alexander is in Korea. Last week, he was at Las Vegas. And I think he's unstoppable. He knows no rest. And I mean, I cannot say I don't love that. I feel I can trust he's out there raising capital, raising attention on Bitcoin and ALTBG. And you Be the Moon were in Las Vegas, like you heard him speaking, right? Like, how was it?
Yeah, to your point, I met Alexander in Las Vegas last week. I even had the honor to do a lunch with him one-on-one.
Nice.
And this man is on another level. So when he was on stage, he was on stage with the smaller companies, probably because he was invited when they had 40 Bitcoin on the balance sheet. But the way he thinks, the way he talks, the way he dreams, the way he eats is all Bitcoin per share. This guy is laser focused and earned more of my trust than I had even before I went. So I'm even more bullish after meeting Alexander live. He's really an inspirational guy.
Nice. I think the moment you start following ALTBG a bit more closely and you go through, I don't know, the content we posted before, like you really start to grasp that they are true and real Bitcoiners and they understand what they're doing. They are a company that is Bitcoin first. It's not other things. They are Bitcoin first. And they are so busy sometimes, like in comparison to Sailor, who is very present on social media on X, but also Metaplanet. Sometimes you feel like, okay, they should communicate more. But I know where that's coming from, because I think they are a small team and they keep moving around and they keep being present where they need to be, also at main events. And they keep raising capital at incredible speed. We will also see this in a minute. So yeah, very bullish, and glad you could check it out in person as well.
Yeah, it was nice. So,
yeah, let's start with the interesting things. If you listen to our previous episode, you might know this chart, but let's go through it once again together for the people who watch it, who look at it for the first time. So here we have a lot of things in this graph, a lot of precious insights. So we know that they started acquiring Bitcoin in 2024 in Q4 or end of Q3, in November actually, Q4. And here in orange, we have their Bitcoin acquisition strategy, how many Bitcoin they managed to collect. And we know that we doubled the amount of Bitcoin in 2 days ago, yesterday, right? And I remember it was quite exciting because we will see, we did this kind of forecast, and yesterday I posted it, and 3 minutes later, it was announced that they acquired the same, very similar amount of Bitcoin, and that was quite exciting. We saw that coming a few weeks ago. And now we are at 1,471 Bitcoin, which is a great achievement. Also, in comparison to other Bitcoin treasury companies at the same age of ALTBG, and we will see that later. But we also see how the capital raising capacity was set in February, end of February, to 300 million. Most people don't know this, but they set the capital raising capacity to 300 million. Then they went for it, right? When they said it was very, very low. And then immediately they got the BTC denominated bond, and they climbed up to around 50 if I'm not mistaken, around 50 to 60 million at the time. And then they kept climbing up. And now we reached 147.6 million capital raised. But as you can see, first, they're moving very fast. And second, there is still 152 million to reach the 300 million of capital raising capacity that they set in February. But this is not even the most bullish information, because the most bullish information is that in a few days, on June 10th, they are going to vote. Actually, shareholders are going to vote to increase the capital raising capacity to 10 billion. We are talking about, like, these slides, like, look at the orders of magnitude of the capital raising capacity, how much is going to increase. And we don't know yet how what's their strategy, but we can definitely speculate. We can definitely imagine how it's going to play out. Yeah, I think to me this picture like puts everything in perspective. Like, if you are in, and just because of their Bitcoin Treasury acquisition, you're definitely missing the big picture here, because the Bitcoin that was acquired until now is just a little part of what they will be able to acquire in the future if they keep executing at this speed.
Yeah, to your point, Anya, the capital raising capacity is their ceiling, meaning because they do Bitcoin convertible debt, they don't really have a number of Bitcoin capacity issuance that they have a maximum supply of, so they can stack indefinitely. But if the capital raising capacity is not there, they cannot add them to the balance sheet. So this has to be up a lot, so that if someone comes with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Bitcoin, they can add it to the balance sheet in one go. So
yeah, definitely. And I think we should do a session on, like, we talk about Bitcoin denominated converts and bonds, but I think it deserves a whole episode. Like, converts deserve a whole episode, because I think it's the incentive system that there is in play with Bitcoin denominated bonds is amazing for this type of companies at this relatively early stage in comparison to Metaplanet and MSTR. And that's, I think, what I love to see when I see a kind of a setup of incentives. Oftentimes, like, if incentives are in place, they will play out, right? They will play out, and that's a bit how we did our forecast, right? I think it's next slide. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. That's how we didn't do crazy analysis. We just read the documents and we saw the incentives that were at place. And we basically exchanged, and I took your calculations, Bidemun, because it's incredible how accurate the prediction was at end of May.
in my defense, I'm missing the 3 million from UTXO management, what's still in progress. So that's about 30 Bitcoin. So it's going to be even closer. And Bitcoin dived a little bit. So I think it will be spot on in 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward. But I feel like, so this was really exciting to actually being able to properly, accurately forecast that. But as I said, like, it's, if you would look into the documents, and you would see that the tranche 1 Bitcoin denominated bonds holders had huge incentives already to subscribe to tranche 2. So this Bitcoin, this 624 Bitcoin that they acquired yesterday, they were, and the capital raise that was announced a few days ago was just like, was almost mathematically calculated, right? Like, it was really expected. It was really easy to see that coming. Of course, it's never certain until we get there, but the incentives at play were very, very strong. So yeah, little moment of celebration here, I would say, because it feels good.
I like it.
And yeah, you want to spend a couple of words on this slide?
Yeah, I just saw this on the strategy tracker, because I know we're doing a great job, but there were 2 comparison stock performance, one from year to date, one from month to date. And even with Metaplanet and all the hype that is around Metaplanet, and I think it's a great company, don't get me wrong, but we outperformed Metaplanet and all others by such a significantly high number if you do year to date. But also if you do month to date, even when Metaplanet had the short squeeze, we still ended up higher in percentage. Do you have the month to date also or not?
I didn't add it. I didn't have time. But yeah, you can see that. You can see that, and ALTBG is moving super fast. And one thing that I think we can notice that retail is definitely responsible. I mean, it contributes definitely to the price evolution of this company. And we can see that for ALTBG, the attention is not yet that broad as for Metaplanet. So, and also the market cap is smaller. I could see that there is still, like, as they keep executing, more news coming, more like a larger Bitcoin treasury, more attention, and there are infinite amount of, like, there are a lot of people from US who want to buy it, but somehow since it's not that easy, there is not a ticker yet. Many people don't get access and don't expose themselves to ALTBG. So I think we will also, this is also part of what might come next, right? More attention and
yeah. And if you see what Metaplanet did this month, they added a huge amount of Bitcoin and they had a lot of attention, but Metaplanet did 173% this month and ALTBG did 200%. So even without outstacking Metaplanet in real Bitcoin numbers, even without the 10x hype, ALTBG did more in revenue.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. I mean, we have some numbers now. Let's move on and let's see. Oh yeah, like, so we are going fast, but how long to cover them now? Like, are we too stretched? Peter Moon, are we too stretched?
Yeah, I had some discussions about the mNAV and it being high with 7, 8, even 9. And my reaction was nowhere too low, actually. So I made a post about it. I don't know if it's in your overview, but what the mNAV is like a future. It's the future prediction of how much do you want to pay now for the intrinsic value that you receive. And the months to cover is how long will it take before the mNAV is erased in the stock price of which you paid. So when you pay like 7.25 mNAV in this case, it takes ALTBG about 4 months to cover your intrinsic value back to 1 Bitcoin. So that's such an insanely fast way to receive intrinsic value. And if the mNAV stays the same, the stock price just explodes. So
yeah,
you can see on the left side, we see all the other treasury companies. You see ALTBG taking a deep dive. And diving in this case is very bullish. So you want the days to cover mNAV as low as possible, because that means they're covering the mNAV you've paid at a very high rate. So the blue line is ALTBG.
Yeah, and I would stress, I would like just bring the attention here to this to the axis, right? We are looking at days to cover the mNAV, and we're looking at various BTC treasuries. And we can see that ALTBG in blue, first of all, is the second shortest days to cover mNAV. So it's very good, but also it's, in terms of size, is very far, is much bigger than in the Smarter Web company. But so when it compares to, for example, Semler or Metaplanet or Strategy, is definitely very well placed. And many people, when we were at 800 BTC yield year to date a few weeks ago, they were saying, "Oh, but I'm skeptical. Like, I should adjust the yield. I should actually account for that. We're not keeping up." I think that's not true, because at the stage they are, and the tool, the BTC denominated bonds that they're adopting, will enable them to keep a very high BTC yield. So far, they're doing that. So let's see how it evolves. Above all, when they raised the capacity.
Yeah, 100%. Ragnar is posting out the overview of all the treasury companies, months to cover, etc. And I had a little, and I won't say a discussion, but a talk with him about why does he discount the months to cover on ALTBG, because he thinks it's too high, because they started out, of course, with a lower base, 40 Bitcoin start of the year. But they're outpacing their Bitcoin yield and the months to cover at the moment. So I would not discount the real numbers, but some models out there are discounting them.
Yes, and I see some questions popping up in the chat. Just for you to know, we will answer them at the end, so that if there are more, we can collect them all together and go through the most important ones. So keep up, like stay until the end, and we will definitely address them. Yeah, well, let's move to the next slide. This is like last time we didn't have this, we didn't see this. We were already done with the 9.9 million and 13 million that were acquired. We said we're gonna probably see 8.6 million and around 60 million coming next. They came, and what's next, Peter Moon?
Yeah, what's next? We can see in the latest financial statement that UTXO management is going to use their tranche 2. So that's about 3 million max. We have still about 7.3 million possible coming from the BSA that were given on the 10th of April of 2025, but they have until 10th April 2026 to convert into shares. And we also know that Moon Capital did a 5 million BTC convertible bond last week. So they subscribed on Friday and it went, they published on Monday. So it was very fast. In this case, it's highly accretive because it was on €3.80 for the future stock price. So possibly 50 Bitcoin there and a couple of Bitcoin from UTXO management. In the last statement, they say they will they keep it at 60 Bitcoin in expectations because they do €100,000 fictional Bitcoin price. So I actually think we can get a little bit more than 60 Bitcoin added very soon, but let's keep the 60 as our base case.
Yeah, and these are only, let's say, what we can see in a bit more deterministical way, right? So short-term estimates. But what we don't see yet, and we don't know yet about, is there is that 152 million of capital raising capacity that is already there, and they are closing up. So for sure, I would expect like some news about that coming soon, and we can deep dive on them. I would expect some more announcements even on how they're going to pursue that, and once they also have the 10 billion raising capacity, how they're going to go after it. We will speculate about these at the end. I think there are some very reasonable assumptions about it.
Yeah, there's a reason to increase the possible capital raise, of course. So let's see how they execute.
Yeah, and this is your estimates, right? Based on the short-term capital raise that we are seeing a bit more, let's say, coming more deterministically, right?
Yeah, two things. What I don't consider in my prediction is the vote yes on the 10 billion capital increase, and also maybe new warrants that will be given out or not. So this is just the insight from the financial statement, the 16 Bitcoin added. If we keep the same NAV, the price should go to €3.81. And if you ask me, that's too low, because I think we should be above €4, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. And also, is the Bitcoin price remaining like at this level, or it's going to go higher?
Yeah, if it goes up, the stock moves up equally, so that would be good.
Yeah,
it would be bad for stacking, but good for the intrinsic value, of course. So.
Definitely. But with BTC denominated bonds, that's not of a big problem, right?
No, true. That's true. You need more shares then, of course, because the value is conducted in euro and then converted to Bitcoin. So
yeah,
it's more dilution as the Bitcoin price is high and the share price is not that high. But
yeah. And I put here also your end of the year prediction. I think this is very cool. It's very bullish.
Yeah, this is a bullish one. So given the fact that they did about 1,500 Bitcoins in 5 months, and their end of year with Beth was 1,500 to 3,000, I suspect a little bit, but I don't want to pressure Alexander and Valentin, that they might overshoot their projections. So if Bitcoin goes to 200K, some believe, some don't, I believe, end of year, and they have a stockpile of 4,500, so 1,500 more than the max target, and the mNAV is 6 instead of 8, just for the bears to shush. If we calculate that, and I assume they need the same dilution that they did for the Moon Capital one, so 1 Bitcoin is about 25,000 shares, then the stock price would be around 14 euros end of year. So this is a bold prediction because I'm saying the Bitcoin goes high, plus I'm saying the Bitcoin stockpile increases more than their projection. But it is kind of my my bullish base case.
Yeah, that's really bullish, and we will see where it goes. I mean, it's very high. Let's see. I'm very curious. I would be happy also to have different scenarios. Maybe we can do that in the future. But for sure, we know that we are gonna go higher. And also in this, we don't have yet a lot of information. I'm very curious to hear from Alexander, like once they raise the capital raising capacity, what will happen. But in the meantime, while we get there, we can already see where we are now, and above all, in comparison to other Bitcoin treasury companies. Like, I think Metaplanet is the closest. Like, I love this graph, right? Because we are looking at the evolution of the Bitcoin treasury from the first day a company purchased Bitcoin and put it on the balance sheet and started executing the Bitcoin treasury strategy, and how it evolved over time. So there are a lot of comparisons between Metaplanet and ALTBG that are going around, and I think they're very fair because ALTBG is like a Metaplanet at earlier stage, and we can see that when we compare the two companies at 210 days from the first day they acquired Bitcoin, which is basically now for ALTBG. ALTBG has 30% more Bitcoin than Metaplanet did at the same point in time. I think this is a very big insight, in my opinion.
Yeah, first I'd shout out to Bitcoin B for making the graphic. I really like it. He's the smarter web company bull, but he also made like this race. It's really nice to watch. I did some research on this this morning, Anya. So Metaplanet started this journey on 8th April 2024, and if we do the 210 days later, it's 5th of November. And the funny thing is that's the day that ALTBG started. But on that day, so if we compare today forward, the 205 days that Metaplanet is ahead, the stock went from 160 yen to about 1,300 yen. So that's a 725% increase. From today, if we say ALTBG will do the same as Metaplanet did in the next 200 days, the stock would be around 26 euros.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. That's definitely a good benchmark.
Well, we do have to add 7,500 Bitcoin to the stockpile then, but in 200 days, so no pressure. But we are outpacing them now, even starting from a lower base. But of course, we have to see if they can do that in the future. But I think when the flywheel flies, it seems easier to get more Bitcoin.
Yeah,
the start is the difficult part.
Yeah, and I think the next two slides are very crucial to understand these, because first of all, I wanted to put this slide taken from the Alexander Lizzie presentation to see their plan. This is their plan that they presented end of April, and the target for this year was to acquire between 1,000 and 3,000 Bitcoin. We are already in target. And I think we will only get close to the end of the target, maybe overcome it. It's really hard to say right now, but we're already in target. And if you look at their future plan, like according to the years from 2026 to 2033, the outlook is very ambitious, very bullish. Probably somebody could say arguably challenging, but they are executing. Like, they're already showing us that they're executing that direction. So let's see how they evolve, but that's where we are going, right? How many Bitcoin did you say that we would have to add to match Metaplanet next 200 days when they were at the stage of ALTBG?
Metaplanet is 200 days ahead of us. So Metaplanet is 410 days old, and we are 210 days old. So the next 200 days, we should stack 7,000 Bitcoin to keep up with Metaplanet.
Okay. I mean, challenge accepted. Let's see where this goes. I mean, their prediction, their plan is definitely that. Like, I mean, the range, if they keep executing, it's a very wide range. But if we will fall in 2026 at the bottom part of the range, we will be there, because they plan to stack between 7,000 and 15,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, the funny thing is, if you took the 620 Bitcoin they had a month ago, and you do that 100% increase every year for 8 years long, you get 210,000 Bitcoins. So the average compound increase is about 100% from the base of 620 Bitcoins. Yeah,
that's great. Let's see. And I connected the dots on how they will probably get there. And these are my speculations. We can speculate about it, but I think there are reasonable assumptions. I did a post the other day where basically I showed this slide. And so these are the ALTBG financial instruments that they are using or they plan to use to acquire Bitcoin. We know they're using private placements in equity. We know they're using stock acquisition rights. Basically, they are giving warrants to shareholders. If you joined before, I don't remember which day in April, you would get access to these warrants. There were some questions in posts that we share the details. It's very appealing for any shareholder to have that. And their biggest instrument so far is the BTC denominated convertible debt. And why this is crucial and is very unique and empowering for a company at the stage of ALTBG. I took Alexandre Lézé's post because I think he keeps answering, by the way. If you write around, and there are some, I would say, good questions, and he always answers, and everything is not written like casually or randomly. There is always a lot of insights in his posts, in his comments. Here he says that basically he answers the question why you didn't adopt a fiat convertible debt. And he says, because actually it's best practice if you adopt fiat convertible debt to raise approximately between 20 and 30% of the BTC fiat value that you have on the balance sheet. With a company at the stage of ALTBG, that will be a very small amount and a lot of papers, a lot of work to get a very small amount. While with BTC denominated convertible debt, there is not this limit. They can put as many Bitcoin they want on the balance sheet because they will be on both sides of the balance sheet, on both liabilities and assets. They will move in the same with the same magnitude. And my speculation, my reasonable assumption, is, I mean, it's once again, I think it's a framework of incentives that is there. As a smaller company, BTC Treasury, you can leverage this instrument, BTC denominated convertible debt. And once you reach size, a bigger size, you can definitely start to tap into the institutional money through fiat convertible debt. So once they unlock, I think these, first of all, it's not a substitute source of money, of capital, because BTC denominated convertible debt target or are an instrument for big BTC whales. But instead, fiat convertible debt it's more for institutions, for fiat players. So this is incremental capital that they will get, and it's a whole new pool of incremental capital. I imagine Europe, we live in Europe, we know it. There is not institutions that don't hold and cannot hold Bitcoin, and we'll have a chance, like in US with MSTR, to get exposure, indirect exposure to Bitcoin at certain risk, like at safer conditions that cover from volatility, which are basically the convertible debt. Like this will be incredibly appealing for big institutions, and it will be incremental capital, not substitute capital. And this for me, it's a whole new size of investment. That's in my opinion, and we are speculating here because I didn't disclose it yet. That's in my opinion how they will get to cover those 10 billion of capital raising capacity. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's good to do a little more explanation here again on the BTC denominated convertible debt, because it is it's a little bit hard to comprehend in the beginning, because in this moment in time, when they receive a subscriber for a BTC convertible debt, it doesn't matter if they pay or deposit in euros or in Bitcoin. It matters that at the moment they pay in euros, it is then converted directly to Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin is the part that is of the convertible debt. So let's say Moon Capital, they did 5 million. We look at the price of Bitcoin, it's 90,000, 92,000, let's say 100,000 to make it easy. Then the BTC denominated debt is 50 Bitcoin. It's not the 5 million euros anymore. So if in 5 years nobody converted, so the subscriber didn't convert and ALTBG didn't convert to stocks, they have to pay back 50 Bitcoin. The price of that Bitcoin does not matter. So it's not a moving target. There is no credit risk for ALTBG. There is no currency risk. There is just the Bitcoin that's on the balance sheet needs to be returned to the one that's subscribed if the stock if it's not converted to stock. So even if Bitcoin goes to 10,000 euros, they don't have to sell 10 times the amount of Bitcoin to pay the 5 million back. No, they just give back the 50 million. And because they can do this, they can scale without any limitations. So they can go from 1,500 to 10,000 in one go if they find someone with 8,500 Bitcoins they want to put out. And why do whales want to do this? Because they have the Bitcoin, they have it in cold storage, they have it under custodian somewhere, and it's not yielding at the moment. So they just hold it, and that's probably enough yield. But if you want almost no risk, because when you do the BTC convertible debt, the debt is on the balance sheet of the company. And if it doesn't work out, you get the Bitcoin back. So if you're a Bitcoin believer and it doesn't work out, you get your Bitcoin back. And if it does work out, you get shares. And the shares always have a markup of 30%. So you know normally that you're in the money when they have a conversion right. So if you want yield on your Bitcoin without much risk, but with a lot of upside, you give away the first 30% of a possible yield, and then you have zero risk with high possible income. So it's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah, and I would like, you said very, very cool stuff. I would like to underline, to bring the attention to a couple. You said it, I just want to add on it. The first one is that, so the debt holders that have, who basically delivers the Bitcoin, the debt holders, the convertible, the converts holders, they are already, I mean, they're very bullish, right? Because they're basically, they bet on the company increasing at least 30%. They give away this 30% premium at the moment of when they close the deal. So they can convert only when the price reaches a certain level. And also the very important part about the risk rating of ALTBG, that is kept low. So through this BTC denominated convertible debt, since they are basically they are both on the liabilities and assets, there is no, they don't increase their balance sheets like in an asymmetric way. So they don't have huge liabilities and very few assets. They increase proportionally the balance sheet, and because of this, their risk rating is low. And that's incredibly important for what will come next that they want to do, which is a fiat convertible debt. Because then when you enter the fiat ecosystem and you have low credit risk rating, then you manage to attract capital at very good conditions. So we will see what happens, and I'm very curious. I think once they're done raising the capacity, and also there are probably, I would expect that there will be more announcements coming in the next weeks, definitely months. We will see if these, what we are talking about now, is actually playing out as we envision.
Yeah, and remember that if someone does the BTC convertible debt and say he does 1,000 bitcoins, then the current Bitcoin is almost doubled on the balance sheet, but the premium is 30%. So it's accretive for shareholders, but the moment the Bitcoin arrives, they're already probably in the money. So that's also very accretive for the one that does the BTC convertible debt.
Yeah.
So it's a really a win-win situation without currency risk or credit risk. It's genius.
Yeah, and probably why, for example, I mean, other companies are not doing it, in your opinion. Why now Metaplanet is not doing it yet, or MSTR? Like, I'm just, yeah.
If I'm right, then Metaplanet only does like private placements, so they don't even do the fiat convertible debt. And in the US, I don't know if they can do it actually. One of the questions from Mike Forresty is what impressed you a lot about Alexander, and this is one of the things that impressed me a lot, because he told me that they come up with the BTC convertible debt themselves, and it took months with lawyers to finalize it. But this is something they thought about.
Yeah,
it's genius.
Yeah, it allows them to scale very fast. So if you got this rolling, then you are kind of unstoppable. But to get this rolling, it takes quite some intention to make it happen. So probably also there is some barrier to entrance to use these instruments. And I would say also the first mover in this area is the one that most likely has a huge advantage, because once you are a Bitcoin whale and you already allocated your Bitcoin, that's it. You're not gonna move it on to another company unless they can provide you better conditions the next time. But yeah, we will see. But it's not, there is more, I think. So we added now the next two slides. There are two bullish things that we like if there are catalysts or potential catalysts. The more potential catalysts means that at least some of them will play out. And the first one is the Bitwise ETF on public treasury companies. Please, Bidemun, tell us about it.
Yeah, so OWNB, Own Bitcoin, is an ETF from Bitwise, and every company that holds 1,000 Bitcoin or more on their balance sheet will be taken in and will be weighted by their balance sheet. So in this case, Treasury gets 22% of all allocation as under management, and HOT8 gets 4.52%. Because we crossed the 1,000 Bitcoin mark, we should be enabled to participate in the OWNB ETF. And if we look at what that would mean, we can look at Fold, because Fold is in there with 1,485 Bitcoin, so approximately the same. They have a little bit more than a 2% allocation. And then that's the question, what is the asset under management? It's about 18 million. So if ALTBG gets taken in, we're looking about a passive income fund of about 350, 400,000 euros, which is about 120,000 shares at the current price. So for now, it's not that major, but this is a new ETF that just emerged a couple of months ago. It's increasing in AUM very rapidly. And every time ALTBG increases their balance sheets and the other participants don't, they get higher in the ranking and they get more passive flows. Every time more people are getting into the OWNB ticker, it increased the passive cash flow. So this is just a self-fulfilling flywheel that can go very accretively by just buying the shares to make the stock go up.
Yeah, and also we need to say that ALTBG doesn't have as a big market cap as Metaplanet and Strategy. So even like 2% allocation will make a difference. The more Bitcoin they will acquire, the more passive, let's say, support there will be to the share price.
It's like the S&P 500. The top 7 have so much passive float that they don't even have to work if they don't want to.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And the next very interesting thing, I really also want to learn more about it, because I didn't deep dive myself on it, is the shorts. I added some squeeze here, some lemon squeeze.
I like the lemon. Yeah, possible short squeeze. I put this out on X. It's also always a kind of hype thing, a short squeeze, but we could have one. And let's take a look at what happened. So in the beginning of May, so the beginning of last month, there were about 1.1 million shortable shares in the clearing broker. So you could get about 1.1, that's about 1% of the total stock, to short the stock. And then we see in the yellow curve on the bottom, you see it declining and going a little bit up and then declining some more. So you see that shorts are being added. It's also possible that some people took out the shorts, but we also see the price going up, the fee rate. So if we look at what happened, it looks like if we assume all the shorts stocks are being actually short, then we can see that about the average price of all the shorts is about when the price was €3. And you can see the fee increasing from 6% to 80% plus. So the average fee, that's the yearly fee, is about 4% fee a day. So if we take an average stock price of €3 and we say ALTBG is €3.5 now, and we take the 1.1 million in shorts, that would suggest that the people or company that is shorting this is about 600K in the underwater. Plus, he's paying about €44,000 every day on fees. So if he wants to cover his shorts, you have to go long, because you have to close the shorts. Because when you go short, you borrow stock from somebody that has them. You don't have them. You sell them at the market, €3 in this case. So that's on 1.1 million, that's like 3.3 million euros they received. But if they want to buy back the stock at 3.5 or 4 euros, they actually take a loss. So they have to buy the 1.1 million of shares to deliver them back from the one they borrowed them from. So they're getting a loss of maybe 1.1 to 2 million. Plus they're making a loss of 44,000 euros a day to keep the short open when they're not in the money. Because that's the daily rate if we calculate 4% a day. So if they close this, because it's fully open still, they have to buy back 1.1 million shares. So that's a possible squeeze, because you cannot buy 1.1 million shares at the moment without moving the stock up fast, because the order book is not made for 1.1 million shares.
Yeah, we'll see if this happens. But the more the price goes up, and I mean, it's going up, it's gonna go up more, the more likely this becomes then. So
for every euro it goes up, they're losing 1 million in losses. Plus, for every day it continues, they're losing about 44,000 euros in fees.
Yeah,
so they're on a pretty hard time horizon, because you see the fee rate is 180% now. That's even 0.5% a day. So I'm taking the 150 as an average, but the latest fees, because they added yesterday to the shorts, is 180%.
Yeah, and I love this. So it's clear that traditional finance is not really getting what's happening with BTC Treasuries, and most of the times, as we saw from the Financial Times documentary on Michael Saylor and strategy, the journalists, like, they did this trade, and I don't know if it was a paper trade, probably, but took the short part and went really bad. It was a disaster. Why did she take the short part? Because she didn't understand. And still, from the Financial Times documentary, we can understand that she didn't understand yet what's happening, even after deep diving. And I think traditional finance is still wrapping their heads about these stocks and these companies. They don't figure out, they see something going up so much, so they just know that usually they should short it. If this would be any other company, then they knew they could make a lot of money by shorting it, but they don't know they don't fully grasp what is driving the price up, the BTC, and they don't fully grasp how explosive and it can be still, even after having grown so much already. So I think
imagine shorting a company that just went from 620 Bitcoin to 1471 Bitcoin in 3 months.
yeah. But probably they think this is magic money, and they don't understand what is Bitcoin. And then it's common sense in traditional finance. If a stock goes up so much, probably it's going to burst. I think that it's very long still the line in traditional finance of investors and funds who expect a strategy to fail, to go bankrupt, and so on. And the same is no difference in Europe with the big blockchain group. So let's see what happens. It would be really exciting. It would be really fun to see this happening, actually.
Yeah, I'll keep everyone updated on my X. If I see changes here, because I have it open all day, I will
Nice.
put out the message.
That's great.
But probably we will see it in the stock price. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we are done for today. Maybe before, I have one last slide. First, a reminder. Once again, we share our research, but do your own research before investing your money. Make up your own mind. Don't trust what we say. Verify. We might get wrong, right? So anytime we just share this because we think it's valuable and we hope it can add to the picture of every one of you. And also it's a pleasure to do this, frankly. So please don't trust, verify, follow the Bitcoin, the main Bitcoin rule. And for the rest, just, let's enjoy this ride. Let's see where it goes. I'm really bullish and really excited. I cannot wait to see where it is going. Yeah. Thank you, Peter Moon, as well, to share this space with me. It's really a pleasure to research together and share.
Thank you for making the presentation again. I like it.
Thank you. And I promised we would answer the questions at the end of our live. I see that the main question that there is to answer is from Mikey, who's asking how to vote for the capital raising capacity on the 10th of June. I saw that Alexander Lizet shared a post, actually. We should find it, we should look for it, where he was, or it was the blockchain group, or whatever there is. If you follow the blockchain group on the channels and so on, you will definitely see that, where they explained how to vote. And it might not be possible on all the brokers, so you might have to choose another way, but they actually share that. So take a look, you will find it definitely.
It's on Alexander's X. So a few days to vote left for the 10 billion capital increase. And you have to vote before 5th of June midnight. And if your financial intermediary does not offer online voting, you have to do it 9th of June if he does online. So before the 5th if it's not online, and before the 9th if it is online.
Yeah.
You can also do paper voting.
Yeah, great. And I see another question here. Do you feel like commenting on it? How much percentage do you guys have in ALTBG?
I'm committed, man. I'm in 2 treasury companies, so I'm in strategy now, and I'm in ALTBG, and I'm more heavily allocated in ALTBG than I am in MSTR. Because I think it's the faster horse, but I also still like strategy. So the same work I did on ALTBG, I did on strategy before. Still committed there, but a large part of my allocation is in the blockchain group.
Great. Yeah, and I have a slightly different portfolio because I have also MetaPlanet. And until last week, I had GameStop. Then it was very disappointing. Still, I had to make up my mind. I decided that I understood that Ryan Cohen is not a Bitcoiner. It's not, and GameStop is not a pure Bitcoin company, not yet at least. So I just pull my money out there. So not there anymore. I think I need to check the numbers and update them, but I think I'm around 50% MSTR. something like around 30% Metaplanet and 20% ALTBG. Why? Not because I don't believe in ALTBG, but because I do see enormous values in MSTR and Metaplanet as well. And my allocation, it's kind of a risk-adjusted allocation. I find MSTR to be the safest bet in among Bitcoin treasury companies, with the biggest size, also the most appealing to the institutional capital in US, where around, what is it, 50% or 40% or more, I don't remember, but something in that range of capital in the world is actually allocated. So to me, it's the safest, definitely the safest bet. Then Metaplanet, in my opinion, is an ALTBG with 200 days older, basically. And ALTBG is just brand new. I keep all the fresh capital I have. I keep buying. I bought yesterday, and I believe a lot in them, and I believe they will grow. And sincerely, I'm also looking at them, following very closely, and I want to see where they're going. And every news would be a new, I think, new reason to see them as de-risked. Because the only risk, and we should be fair on here, the only risk I see is their execution. Right now, they've proven that they've been executing very well for the past 210 days, very bullishly. But the only limit to their greatness is any challenge that might come with the execution, which is very ambitious. I think they can go there, but they will have to prove it at every step. That said, I'm very bullish on all three. And definitely, I have meaningful allocations there. I believe in them. So we'll see. We'll see where it's going. And I read another question from Civic. So do you have an expected time range on when they will be able to ATM 10 billion public offering capacity?
No, I actually don't, because it's not public information. When I asked Alexander about it, he just said we're working on it. But the 10 billion capacity is not only for ATM, of course. So it's also just the capital increasement. So it can be BTC convertible debt, it can be fiat convertible debt, it can be public offerings, it can be warrants. It's just the max capacity of the capital increase. So I don't know if they will do ATM. I don't know when they will do ATM. I know that they're looking into doing ATM, but at the moment it's not a possibility.
Yeah, we'll see. We will look into that if that happens, or it's on the radar.
I see the question, was ALTBG the first to do the BTC denominated convertible debt?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And was it Adam Back's idea? That's what I thought also. But Alexander replied with, we thought about it with a team. So it was Alexander and his team that came up with this.
Great. And I think we finished the questions, and we can call it a day. It was great exchanging with you and also talking with this amazing community.
Likewise.
Yes, please, if you like it, if you like the content, enjoy it, like it and repost it. This will help a lot. Also, we will help with motivation. I think Bidemon and I were always so busy. Also, to arrange this time slot, we need to chat many times. So this definitely does something with our motivation, and we will share more. Yeah, have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye-bye.